Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 92 of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
And I'm tired.
Me too.
I feel ya.
Sames. This episode is sponsored by Stephanie Price. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Stephanie.
Thank you. Didn't we have a Stephanie the last time, too?
Yeah, Santarpio.
So many
Thanks
Stephanie.
to her,
You
too.
just rolled that right
Stephanie.
I just
Sometimes I
remembered.
get called Stephanie when people don't hear me correctly say my name.
Tiffany, Stephanie. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little
Say
bit.
my name, say my name.
That ain't my name. Nope, that's not the lyric.
That's a
not my
song,
name.
That's
though.
not my name. I said,
not
that
my name.
ain't my name.
I like when Charlie Day sings it in the car. that one
Oh,
movie.
yes.
He gets real into it.
Today we will be discussing chapter 21 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the House Elf Liberation Front.
That's a mouthful.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure that you have read the chapter and you're ready to gallivant into the details. Before we begin, let's go to Megan for some weekly profit news. Megan!
Hello.
Okay.
We have to spice it up a little bit. We got a little
Yeah.
Debbie before we started, and now we're bringing it back up.
We're gallivanting. We gotta.
I thought you were going to say fleas.
Sure.
She might have that. We don't know. So did you guys hear about how like Wizards Unite started in Australia for like testing and stuff?
Yes.
Well, apparently that like started and then stopped real quick because
Were they glitching hard?
I think that they weren't ready.
Sounds
this is
familiar.
why we do it. This is why we do it.
Right.
Pokemon Go.
But
They would have done that more with Pokemon Go.
I know. But because of that, we got a little bit of a deeper look into like what Wizards Unite looks like. And it is more complex than Pokemon Go.
I mean, but
There's
does that make it good?
I think
Why are you
so.
laughing?
Because I am not even in this conversation because I never once played Pokemon Go. So I'm like, it's all complicated to me, my
Sit
friend.
back and
Well-
relax then, babe.
So what's cool about this is like so Pokemon Go, you like obviously you walk around and you'll encounter Pokemon and stuff like that. But with this sorry, there's like something going on with my throat, so I might do that a lot. But anyway, so this you can like there's like different games and stuff that you encounter based on like your locations, and it says that it has a huge amount of content from new types of points of interests to multi-layered raids called fortresses that allow you to fight more than one boss. So the beta is helping. Yeah, I don't really know what that means. They basically, it's not a clone of Pokemon Go, which I think is good because it's the same, but it's different because you don't want like
You don't
the
wanna play the
exact
same
same game, just with different stuff.
Yeah.
But like, so I'll post this article for everybody, obviously, but you can see like a side-by-side comparison of what Pokemon Go looks like and what Wizards Unite looks like.
Wasn't it looking pretty like unfinished?
Kind of.
Yeah.
So like, because you don't have an actual avatar, you're just kind of like this shadowed wizard. Whereas Pokemon Go is a little bit more. Do you have the article up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It looks like they're not completely done.
I agree.
Which
Like,
they
were just
shouldn't
like,
be
it's
because
good
this is
enough, put it
beta.
out.
Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
see
I
what
feel like
happens.
the map, I guess I would say, the map just looks a little
I'm the map.
Boring?
I'm the map.
It does look a little boring.
If there's a place
Not
you
that-
gotta go, I can get
not
you
that like
there, I know.
Pokemon Go's map is like super detailed or anything like
Yeah.
that. I just feel like there could be
Well,
a
also
little bit more. The colors are kind of drab as well. I don't want to knock this down
Right.
because I know
Yeah.
they're still working, but
well, if you think
I mean,
about
we'll
it,
see.
like the Pokemon Go map has evolved over time.
big time.
So like whenever you first started it, it was honestly pretty similar to what we're seeing in the Wizards Unite one. It was pretty
and it didn't work.
basic. Yeah. So hopefully, like, yes, this is the base of the game, but as time goes on, it'll evolve just like Pokemon Go did.
Perfect.
Just
Just like Pokemon.
Oh, Sarah bringing the Pokemon facts.
See, you contributed to the conversation. What's a Pokemon? That's what my mom would call them, Pokemans. And I was like, Mom,
You're wrong.
So fortresses are the equivalent to a gym. I don't really understand fully like what you're going to encounter all the time, but
beast.
similar things.
Maybe, Death Eaters?
Maybe.
Maybe.
That would make sense. Probably.
Werewolves.
A hungry Bron.
Hungry Tiffany.
And then there's fortresses and gyms, and then there's Pokestops and inns. So it's the same thing. They'll give you energy, and then that way the game, like, you can use them just to evolve, just like in Pokemon Go with Wizards Unite. However,
Do you think you're going to have to, like, take down things, like, because it says Wizards Unite, like, who are we uniting
I
with?
think
You know what I mean? You have
so.
to, like, join each
Like-
other together to, like, take something out.
like, what's it called whenever, like, a legendary comes up in Pokemon Go
Yeah.
and you all have to go fight it? A raid?
A raid, yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be like that. And it says here that unlike Pokestops, you don't just swipe the inn to get your energy. Niantic has taken the magical nature of Wizards Unite to heart, and they get you to cast spells instead. So from what I've seen, the only spell you use right now is Accio. But it's a mechanic that shows you how much thought Niantic's putting into the game. So, like, they're using the same skeleton of the game, but they are, like, making it fit the Potter universe, which is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like so much. We could probably talk about this for like another 30 minutes, which we don't need to. So
We'll have more when more comes out.
yeah, but it looks really, really cool. There's combat. Oh yeah, look, here's a werewolf that you fight. And it like it kind of gives you a little thing to trace to like cast a spell
It's pretty cool.
to fight them.
I'll definitely try this out.
Yeah.
There's no way that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'll be keeping up with it because walks are a little difficult now with the babe
Yeah.
and the dog, and so we'll see.
Also, like, Pokemon Go kind of died in the winter here. Like, there are some areas where
Yeah.
it can be all the time, but it kind of like ebbs and flows here.
True, very true.
Especially after they put all those rules about like driving while doing it, because
Which is good.
It is good, but at the same time, like in the winter, it was really nice to be able to. With Pokemon Go, we would go to that cemetery and just drive like 10 miles an hour around and get energy. It was awesome. What is that cemetery called in Cleveland? Lakeview Cemetery.
Lakeview.
So many Pokestops there.
Noise.
There were probably like 50. Like, it was intense. It was a breeding ground for Pokemon. That's all I got.
All right, it's time for the recap.
You don't want to try your roll your R's today?
Oh, redo.
You could also just do this on the next one.
Recap.
I can't do that.
You guys can
Really?
roll your R's?
No,
Oh.
I don't understand how.
I'm tongue tied.
Recap.
Oh my god.
I just,
What?
That's not it. You're not doing it.
I know I can't.
We're better
I just
than
can't
you.
do it.
Oh, but we knew this. Because we can roll our R's.
That makes you better than someone.
Makes me better than everybody. Besides the fact that I'm a Ravenclaw and I'm me. Yeah.
You're the only
Florence
one of
was here
you.
today.
Just like I'm the only one of me. And that's the fun of me. And that's the fun of you.
Baby, that's the fun.
All right, I need to leave. Goodbye, guys.
Such a
I'm
good
done with this
time.
podcast.
All
I'm
right.
done with these people.
Summarize this for me, will you?
You
Real
didn't
quick.
read the recap.
Oh, recap that for me real quick.
Skipping over the Hufflepuff.
I'm just trying to keep it moving.
All right. Harry was just trying to survive past Tuesday. And
Aren't
that's
we all?
the poor kid is asking for. He does Cedric a solid and tells him about the dragon, so now everyone is on even footing. Judy kicks Harry's brain into gear and makes him realize if he can just get his firebolt, he might stand a chance against the dragon. And shout out to Herm for staying up literally like half the night trying to teach him Accio. But it pays off, and he gets the golden egg from the dragon and ties with Victor Crumb. And to top it all off, Harry and Ron are besties again.
Ugh, Biffles.
They kissed and made up.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
God.
I've been waiting. I
those
hate
smooches?
it when they fight.
I know, it's the worst.
I think it's fantastic.
You would.
And I'm kidding. Ish. Okay, so the trio sends a serious update. And then there's a party in the common room where things get real loud and a little birdie.
You're so weird.
Well, it does, because he turns into a bird.
I
kinda.
know.
So things progress back into a normal-ish school life, because, let's be honest, Harry goes there, it's never going to be normal. And we unfortunately see Rita again.
Rita.
And she's trying to talk to Hagrid. And then Trelawney sees more death, because, what else is new? Hermione takes Harry and Ron to Ron's heaven, a.k.a. the Hogwarts kitchen, to show Harry his real best friend is there, Dobby.
Truth.
We find out that Dumbledore gave both Dobby and Winky jobs at Hogwarts, and one of them is taking this news much better than the other. They learn some things about the house elves and secrets, and Winky knows things that she's not telling them. Rude. And they stock up on some snacks and leave the kitchens.
Bye.
This is a loaded chapter.
Just like their pockets when they're leaving the kitchen.
I wish my pockets were loaded with snacks.
Got a whole box over here loaded with snacks.
They're like the not great snacks anymore.
We've picked through those. I can take those to my classroom.
They're
if
only
you want.
Lay's
maybe we need to
potato
buy
chips.
more
left.
And we
snacks.
can just redo the snack thing.
I want all these snacks over here. Do not take snacks away from me, Tiffany.
Then
know what's in
you
there.
eat them all.
These be
Okay.
fighting words.
You got it.
Okay. After the task, the trio head up to the Owlery and they find good old Pig. So Harry can write and tell Sirius that he made it alive through the first task. Hooray!
Yo, bro, didn't die.
That was
That's the
horrific.
bad bell.
It is not. I have the bad bell.
Oh.
Oh.
There's 2 bad bells.
Are there?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there are. That is a bad bell.
Oh my gosh.
As they were on their way, Harry made up for some lost time and filled Ron in on everything that Sirius told him about Karkaroff. And Ron was saying that they pretty much should have been suspecting that all along, just based on how he acts and who he is. So it says, fits, doesn't it? And he said, remember what Malfoy said on the train about Dad being friends with Karkaroff? Or his dad, rather, not Arthur.
Arthur's friends with
Plot twist.
Now we know where they know each other. They were probably running around in masks together at the World Cup. I'll tell you one thing, though, Harry, if it was Karkaroff who put your name in the goblet, he's going to be feeling really stupid now, isn't he? Didn't work, did it? You only got a scratch. Come here, I'll do it. Because Pig was going wild, so that's why he had to, hold him down and put the letter on his leg.
Little pig.
But, I mean, Karkaroff definitely was not at the cup in a mask because he's terrified.
I mean, he sold everybody out. If he showed
Yeah.
up there,
Yeah.
they'd kill
He's
him.
nervous.
Yeah, so that's one thing that Ron is definitely wrong about because Karkaroff would never he wouldn't be alive if he went there. So Ron thinks that the rest of the tasks could not be as dangerous as dragons, and I said, "Oh, Ron." Hermione brings them back to reality, and Ron kindly calls her a right little ray of sunshine.
She's just reality.
But
slapping
truthfully-
him in the face.
But
Wouldn't they just get harder?
Correct. This is the first one.
right.
Naturally, in my mind, they would get harder as time goes on.
I think he's just trying to make up for the fact that he hasn't been comforting Harry for
Do
the
you-
last couple weeks.
Do you think he's sucking up a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's natural.
Well, yeah. I would probably do the same thing and be like, I'm sorry, I was such a terrible person to you. The letter is now attached to Pig, and Ron chucks him out the window, and he plummets 12 feet before pulling himself back up to be able to fly. One person for the bell.
Sounded like a doorbell.
Ding dong. I feel bad for Pig, though. The poor little guy.
Just gets thrown like a
But-
baseball.
I know. He has to work so hard to get back up.
I think he enjoys it.
He probably does.
He's like, look at me, I'm flying real fast. Gonna deliver this letter. Yeah.
He feels important. That he has a job to do.
He is important.
Schmaw Pig. Ron says they better get back downstairs for Harry's surprise party. Way to ruin it, dude. Fred and George probably nicked some food from the kitchens. As soon as they walked through the common room, it exploded with cheers and yells. And it just reminds me, how many times has he walked into this common room with the same kind of reaction from the Gryffindors?
A lot.
It's a ton.
Quidditch game.
Quidditch
Quidditch, yeah.
matches.
When he
Yeah.
got pulled out of the goblet the first time.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a ton.
Well, I think this time he's happy.
Yeah, this
Well,
time he
yeah.
wants
Well, with
it.
the
And
Quidditch,
the Quidditch,
too,
he's
though.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just so many times that he walks in and it's like, "Bah!"
He's Harry Potter.
He needs to know it's coming at all times.
Don't you know he's the chosen one?
He is the chosen one.
But I am
The official chosen one. There were, quote, mountains of cake and flagons of pumpkin juice and butterbeer on every surface. Lee Jordan had let off some filibuster fireworks, so the air was thick with stars and sparks. And Dean Thomas, who was very good at drawing, had put up some impressive new banners, most of which depicted Harry zooming around the Horntail's head on his firebolt, though a couple showed Cedric with his head on fire.
That's rude.
That's not kind.
But like, isn't that what happened? He's just depicting what
Yeah.
happened.
He got caught on fire. It is what it is.
He got a little bit of a blaze on his cheek,
He
and
got
his
butter.
whole head was not on fire.
Your
Cedric
head
is the true
on fire.
champion.
Although he is pretty hot.
Harry felt much better about the party in the common room than the last one they had for this champion. And he had been nervous for so long that he had forgotten how to properly be hungry. And I said, like,
Aw.
whoa, that's some
Yeah.
nerves. Because even when I'm nervous, like, I'm still hungry.
I've only experienced nerves like that once, and it sucks.
Same. One time.
You can't eat.
Yeah.
If I'm like
That's
really
pretty bad.
sad, like,
It's happened a couple
I
of
don't
times
eat.
to me.
but not when I'm
Pretty bad
nervous.
if I can't eat.
Yeah.
It's anxiety, just like, yeah. I'm realizing as I'm getting older that I have pretty bad anxiety.
It's okay.
Well, I think I've said this before. I don't know if I've said this on the pod, but like I never had anxiety until I had Alana.
Yeah, and then
Like
it's
even
like
all
it just hits
through
you.
all throughout my pregnancy, no anxiety, and then I had a kid, and I was like,
Yeah, welcome to the club. It sucks.
I don't want to be a part of it.
Nobody wants to be a part of it.
I know, but like
It's a cruddy feeling.
I've gotten so much better, like so much better throughout time. But like,
It's probably helpful that you didn't have it before, so like you feel like you can
Yeah.
get back to it.
yeah, it's bananas. So
I hide mine well usually.
if you have anxiety,
We
I feel
feel
for
ya.
you, and I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, anxiety.
Go ahead.
Camellia. I may have butchered your name. I'm sorry. But she said anxiety is the worst, and I feel like Harry experiences all aspects of it. Definitely.
Yep. Okay, gallivanting back in. Harry felt so happy. Oh, thank goodness. He had Ron back on his side, and the next task was 3 months away. Hashtag bliss. The other Gryffindors were checking out the golden egg from Willy Wonka. They, I like, oh. They were all encouraging him to go ahead and open the egg, and Hermione wants Harry to follow the rules and open the egg on his own. And he's all like, yeah, but like the dragons, and you basically helped me last time. So, and she gives him like this smirk. And so she's fine with him opening it. So Lee passes him the egg, and he like digs his nails into the groove and pries it open. And get ready for it. It was a hollow and completely empty egg. But the moment he opened it, the most horrible noise, a loud and screechy wailing filled the room. The nearest thing to it Harry had ever heard was the Ghost Orchestra at Nearly Headless Nick's death day party. And it was the guy who was playing the musical Saw, which, like,
It's not musical. It's just not.
it reminds me of someone playing the spoons, but I like the spoons are like, but that's like a cool sound. I don't think I've ever actually heard someone play a saw. Does it sound like a wiggle sound?
I think so. I think it depends on how they're
How
doing
you're
it.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're kind of going down, because you could wiggle
like
it,
it-
and then
Right,
like
right.
that sound, and then
The
there's also
woo-
like
It'd be
the
like a washboard sound too if you go against the teeth. You know what I mean?
Oh. Let's play some spoons.
Okay.
it's also
We'll
a
start
game
our
you can
own
play.
band.
I did know that. Yes.
This is fun.
I haven't played in so long. Oh, goodness. Okay. So Fred basically has had enough, and he yells for Harry to shut it. No one knows what the sound was. Seamus suggests that it might be a banshee, which isn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
When you think about it. Neville suggests that someone might be being tortured, and he says that maybe he would have to fight the Cruciatus curse. And he said that, and he dropped his sausage rolls.
Sad days.
Yeah, he probably
Super
has
sad tweet.
remembering of that. You know what I mean? His parents. You know what I'm saying? Like remember how Harry has like visions, not visions, but like he
Do
can
we know
kind
that
of
it was
remember.
done
But
in
was
front of him,
Neville
though?
there?
I don't know if it was at their house. I don't know. I'm just saying it could be.
Oh, we need to research that.
I like how Tiffany was just thinking it was sad because he dropped his sausage and then Sarah took
Well,
it.
no, all of it was sad. Like, it was sad that he said that because obviously that's how his
I
parents
know. I know.
were
I just, like,
tortured, but also
saw it in
sad,
your
like
eyes.
super
But, like,
sad about. I thought you were
obviously-
going to be really upset about sausage too.
I mean, yes, that is sad.
Can we like pour one out for these sausage rolls?
Yes.
just make some sausage and we'll eat it?
There is some
All I-
upside.
all-
So good.
All I'm saying is, it would to me it would make sense that
Yeah, I wonder
because
if he's
Harry's
dead.
parents died in their house with Harry there,
Right, yeah.
that Neville would be at home with his parents when they were tortured.
I guess I always thought that they were like out doing
On a mission.
Yeah.
I
crazy,
also
I never thought
envisioned
but
that.
there's no reason for that to be the case. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe I'll look that up when my part is completed.
Eddie suggests, he says, I feel like he would have been involved in the attack if he was there. Bellatrix and company would not have stopped attacking him too.
Or maybe they thought he would just perish because they
but
left him
maybe-
there. You know, he's a baby.
Maybe he wasn't in the same room as them. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Did they know that he had a
That's a
kid?
good thought.
Perhaps.
Well, yeah, they would have
obviously
had
did.
to because that's why they were targeted.
True.
Was it?
Yeah, because Neville would have been the chosen one.
Yeah, but Voldemort would have taken care of that
But
himself.
Voldemort chose Harry.
I don't know. I don't know.
We have a lot
Do
of
we
thoughts
have a
to
Harry
think.
Potter podcast? Do we know this this stuff?
This
Can
stuff
I
is-
ask can I ask the patrons, can you guys look that up to see if there's any article, interview, whatever for Joe? Can you just give that a quick look for me?
That's a good point.
Thanks,
Vinny
friends.
suggests maybe his grandmother gave him a precise description of what happened. She seems like the type of person that would do that.
Maybe.
She seems very like realist.
Like it's good and bad sometimes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. But someone still looked that up for me. Thanks. So, George, he says, don't be a prat, Neville. That's illegal. They wouldn't use the Cruciatus curse on the champions. I thought it sounded a bit like Percy singing.
Oh my God.
Maybe you've got to attack him while he's in the shower, Harry. Fred,
Bringing the jokes.
I know. So Fred offers Hermione a jam tart, and she hesitates because she doesn't know if they're like spiked with any kind of charm or spell. And he's like, no, I didn't do anything to them. It's the custard creams that you need to worry about. And Neville just bit into one, and he immediately like spits it out. And Fred's like, not just kidding, bro. But then I needed to look up.
he?
Well, hold on. I needed to look up a jam tart, and they look super delicious.
Yeah, they do.
So it literally looks like a mini pie without a top crust.
Is this Paul Hollywood's recipe?
Who?
Yes, it is.
Oh boy.
I don't know who that is.
He's from the Great British Baking Show.
Okay.
I bet you I could fit one of those in my mouth.
Yeah, definitely.
Heck yes.
I'm just saying.
This is how we measure things now. Conserve it in your mouth.
This should be
Tiffany,
puff
make these for
pastry.
us.
Oh gosh, no. This
Yeah,
is a puff pastry item.
Yeah, you and Katie.
No, I'm not a puff.
I'll do
you
it.
could pretend.
So I think this is this guy's quote. It says this incredibly difficult recipe was sent in by my mom. You can use the jam and the tarts, whichever suits your taste buds best. Top tip from my mom: it's a good way to use a leftover pastry. I hope I do you proud, Mom. So what kind of
Paul
jam?
Hollywood's Pies and Puds.
But they look really good. And then if you scroll down on the page, there's mini sausage rolls, and those look also good.
How fitting.
So yeah, that's a jam tart. We'll post that for you.
That's a jam tart.
Hermione presses Fred about where he got the food from, and he imitates a house elf. Anything we can get you, sir. Anything at all. And I don't think that really tickles her fancy much, but it gives her an idea. And he said that the house elves would get him a roast ox if he said he was feeling peckish. Then he tells her how to get there. And she's acting a little suspicious because Fred gives her an eye. Because, she's not, Hermione is not a very good actress.
No.
She's kind of like me. But, when she does need to lie, I feel like she would be, if it was, life or death kind of stuff.
Right, she can lie, but-
She can lie.
yeah.
But here, she's, can't hide that she's got plans for this information. She goes, nothing. And he's going to try and lead the house elves out on strike now, are you? Said George. Going to give up all the leaf lift stuff and try and stir them up into a rebellion? And several people are laughing, and Hermione didn't answer because, yeah, that's her plan. He goes, don't you go upsetting them and telling them that they've got to take clothes and salaries, Fred said warningly. You'll put them off their cooking.
That's important.
And just as he said this, Neville starts turning into a large canary. So
I wish they had done this.
I
Yeah.
know.
Would have been so funny.
It would have. It was the custard creams that he had hexed, but within a minute, Neville had molted and was normal again. So I think I like that because
That's funny.
it's quick.
Yeah.
It's not like your tongue is going to kill you. And
Right.
The canary creams, there are 7 sickles each. Harry finally went to bed at 1 in the morning with the rest of the guys, and he placed his horntail model on his bedside table and then closed his eyes. So the little horntail yawns and curls up and goes to sleep like a quality dragon would. I just want one. Like I want a little one.
A little dragon?
Little figure. Not
Oh,
real.
okay.
I don't want to feed it or anything because that's sad. Because other animals would die.
Because you'd have to feed it other animals.
Yes.
If anyone watches Game of Thrones and asked what dragons eat, Daenerys is like, they eat whatever they want.
I saw that because did I
Whatever
did
they
I tell you guys that I watched 15 minutes of the premiere episode of the last season, even though I don't know what's going on?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I wanted to see what all the hype was about. It was all right.
We're still on episode 3, season 1.
That's amateur hour. This ain't BB-8 radio.
Sorry.
So Harry is happy, which makes me happy, and it says, really, Harry thought, as he pulled the hangings on his 4-poster closed. Hagrid had a point. They were all right, really, dragons.
Oh, were they?
Sure.
Now that he's past it. I just think this is really cute. Like, it's a really cute moment. His
Happy for
tummy's
the first
full for the
time.
first time in however long. He's past the dragon. He's got time to relax. His best friend's back. Like, life is good right now. And I want to, like, I don't know. I want to, like, dwell in these moments a little bit longer for him because his life is so difficult. And it just makes me happy to see him happy.
Let me tell you, Harry, these next 3 months are going to fly by. And
Yeah.
then you'll be drowning in a
But
lake.
it's true. Her
God.
quote,
But you
Joe's,
won't.
Joe's quote about time in, I think it was a couple of episodes ago, like when you were dreading something happening, time is like
Yeah.
flying by.
Yeah.
And even though he's not like dreading it per se right now, it still doesn't change the fact that time just flies.
Yeah.
I have a question. That's not
I
the
have a
word.
question.
I don't get why they do the tasks on weekdays.
I don't either.
I don't either, but
It's dumb to me.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't pretend to know a whole lot about the wizarding world.
Oh,
I think you do.
Okay.
You think so?
Yeah.
I try. It's my fave.
So December is here, and it brings
Cheer.
wind. It does bring cheer later on in the month, but right now it's just bringing wind, sleet, and drafty hallways to Hogwarts, which are no fun. Because, like, legitimately, Hogwarts doesn't have windows in some hallways, right?
I don't think so.
No,
it
it
can't.
doesn't.
It's got to have inner hallways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This
doesn't
legitimately
have to
an
have
old
anything.
Castle.
Yes.
I'm gonna. You just watch your mouth today.
Oh, you gonna fight?
You're gonna be grounded.
You wanna fight?
Can't they put like heating charms in the hallways?
Like, I would imagine. But maybe not.
Or like torches in which cats can tie their tails to.
Yes.
Get out.
That's a thing.
How's that go?
Oh, from wait, from what?
Shrek.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, Beauty and the Beast. Kill the beast.
So even in the cold weather, the Durmstrang students and the Beauxbaton students are still sleeping out in their ship and carriage.
Shipping carriage.
And I don't understand why. Like, why are they so stubborn about it? Like, there's room in the castle. Just come in the warmth.
Were they invited to come into the castle,
I don't know.
or is that just?
well, I kind of
It
think
could
that
be tradition, maybe.
I was going to say it probably has something to do with, like, they want to be separate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there seems to be this stigma with the wizarding schools that, like, they're all so secretive and, like, they don't want to be in Hogwarts and, like, have somebody overhear maybe what they're talking about with the tasks or something, because, like, everybody wants to do their own thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But to me, it seems silly. Don't be cold. Go in the warm. Don't go in the hallways, though. Those aren't warm. So they're still tending to the Scroots in Care of Magical Creatures, and they are down to 10 because they're still killing each other.
I'm not
And
surprised.
are now approaching 6 feet long. So Hagrid, obviously these that's
Crazy.
huge. Shout out to
It's like almost as tall as Marty.
yeah.
Think about you having to like.
No, I would be dead.
It's bigger than you.
It's a foot taller than me.
It's bigger than all of us.
You're right.
Yeah, but I'm closer to it than you are.
Okay.
Still.
I'm telling you, you're about to go to your room.
Bye. I'll go take a nap.
There's clean sheets on that bed.
Shout out to Hagrid's motorbike adventure in Universal because we're going to get to see Scroots live and in person.
I don't know.
Well, I won't be there, so
Don't let the door hit you.
bye.
Hashtag.
So Hagrid wasn't sure because these are obviously a new species. He doesn't know if they're going to hibernate or not. So clearly the best route here is to get crates with pillows and comfy blankets for the Scroots to snuggle in together.
See, here's my thing. Like, this is something that I would do. Not that I would have Scroots, but like I do that. Like Fozzie Bear, for example, like was laying down here the other day, and I like covered him with a blanket. Like he doesn't need a blanket.
He was really
I do
cute,
that
though.
with my cats.
I put a blanket on his bed, and he like roots around, and it usually like flies off. But I'm like, need a blanket, little boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about you, cute pooch. Cute pooch.
In case you guys were wondering, this is absolutely the last thing that the Scroots wanted.
Yeah.
So it was chaos for this class. So much that all of the students except for Ron and Harry, I didn't see Hermione. Was she
Was she part of it?
now I like
she time turnering right now.
I don't know. This is Ron and Harry are the only ones left. Everybody else is in Hagrid's cabin. And there's one Scroot left that is loose. And Ron and Harry are helping Hagrid try to round him up, shooting sparks at it. And of course, as this is happening, our best friend ever, Rita, shows up.
Arita.
So she's leaning on Hagrid's garden fence, looking in at the mayhem that is ensuing. And she was wearing a thick magenta cloak with a furry purple collar today.
Don't you wear our color, woman?
Right? And her crocodile skin handbag was over her arm.
I find it interesting that she has a crocodile skin handbag rather than like
Dragon.
a dragon
hide?
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that funny?
Maybe
Crocodiles
it's-
are dragons.
but maybe crocodile bag is cheaper, and she doesn't have the kind of money to get a dragon hide.
True.
Or whatever.
Maybe.
Oh.
She seems like a pretty successful journalist, though. Like, I know that she writes some sleazy articles, but she still, like, is
Being sleazy
always...
ain't easy, man.
Okay.
She spends all the money on her crazy hair and clothes and her acid nails.
Her long nails.
Her nails, man.
How do you
much.
do life?
So
quick quotes.
Clearly, I don't know. True.
this is when we find out via Hagrid that Rita has actually been banned from the school by Dumbledore. So shout out to Dumbledore here.
That's right, my boo.
And I can envision it being because Dumbledore walked in on that little powwow
yeah,
of
yeah,
her
yeah.
and, her and
closet
Harry.
We also know he
Conversation.
doesn't like her anyways. But my
Right.
question is,
Right.
you've been banned. Why are you there?
She's
Why are
probably
you
thinking,
allowed?
like,
I'm
there?
not in
I'm
the
not
castle.
in the school.
But like,
You're on the ground.
Why isn't there like some magical protection for
I
you
know.
not being allowed?
Maybe
there?
Dumbledore's just like,
I'm gonna trust her word
Honor
for a
system.
while.
yeah.
BS. Bob's shorts.
I'll Bob Shorts you. R.S. Roberts Shorts.
Also, if there was magic, then
Those are
her
fancy
whole
shorts.
little animagus thing couldn't work because then she wouldn't even be able to get on there, and that would be, Joe needs her to be
Yeah,
a beetle on the wall. So
Way to spoil everything.
Boo. That's what I say to that.
So Rita ignores that fact and just begins asking questions about the Scroots. And I just want to point out that, like, this is trouble. This is the start of trouble with Rita. Not that she hasn't already started trouble, but, like, I think now, because Dumbledore has banned her, she's angry. So, like, no, I mean, I feel like, yeah, her normal path would probably be like, oh, I'm going to try and dig up some dirt. But, like, now she's extra annoyed because Dumbledore is like, you're not allowed to be here. Go ahead.
Do you think that they knew that she was trouble before she walked in?
Definitely. Hashtag Red should have won a Grammy.
It didn't.
Nope. I could talk about that for a while,
Nope.
though.
This is not your outlet. Go to your
Swish and
Swisher
Swift
stuff.
So Rita begins noticing the fact that the students have cuts and burns and torn clothing and starts asking Hagrid questions and then requests an interview with him. Harry questions where Hagrid got the scroots from because she asks like what they are. And then he's like thinking in his head, shoot, is
Where
this
did he
going to
get
be
them?
bad? Where did he get these things? Like, clearly they're not, these are not things you're going to find in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, right?
But why not?
But could we?
Maybe now in a revised version they would be there, but at this moment in time in the book, they're not there.
Yeah, like, what's Newt got to say? What's Newt got to say? Got to say about the Scroots?
I
would he
feel
say?
like Newt would not be okay with it.
Yeah, but they're
Because-
there. So
Well, I mean, he's okay with the fact that they're there, but I think he would have frowned upon the fact that they were created. So yeah, it was exactly the sort of thing Hagrid might do. Harry's thinking, like, had he obtained them illegally? Ron then says that would be, this is as they're leaving, Care of Magical Creatures kind of talking about it, and Ron is like, well, would that really be a bad thing if somebody finds out about it? What's the worst that could happen? Hagrid needs to get rid of them. That would be a good thing.
job loss though.
Right.
Sacked.
So I found a little, there's a handful of like Q&A websites and stuff, and one of them is sci-fi.stackexchange.com, and I found a couple things on here about Potter, but somebody, I just Googled, did Hagrid breed the blast-ended Scroots?
What if it's an accident though? You know what I mean? Like, what if he had the fire crabs and the manticores and they just happened to have a good time?
Manticores
Maybe.
are like one of the most dangerous magical beasts.
I'm just saying.
Which is
could have been an
crazy.
accident.
Why does he have
Why does he have a manticore?
Because it's
Why not?
Hagrid. Why ask why when it comes to Hagrid?
Why not have one?
Right, I have 4.
I have 5.
Whatever.
So it says here, Hagrid somehow managed to acquire manticores and then got them to breed with fire crabs, creating the hybrid blast-ended Scroots. And this is especially strange since manticores are supposedly sentient.
To reason and think.
You're asking questions.
So
she
it
doesn't
wasn't-
have the
Oh,
answers
so
to.
okay, so it wasn't forced. They actually have to like most animals, like pets and stuff, like they don't necessarily think about the fact when they're breeding. It's just like they know that they're
It's
supposed
natural,
to do that. It's
right.
natural. Whereas manticores have a mind of their own.
That's what I'm saying. You can't force
Got
it.
it.
and you can't force it.
They wanted to
okay,
have
that
it.
makes sense. Got it.
I'm just saying it wasn't Hagrid's fault.
I found another quote from a couple chapters later in Goblet of Fire actually talking about this. So I guess in a conversation with the Daily Prophet, Rita, he admitted to breeding the creatures he had dubbed as blast-ended Scroots, highly dangerous crosses between manticores and fire crabs, and the creation of new breeds of magical creatures is, of course, an activity usually closely observed by the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. Hagrid, however, considers himself to be above such petty restrictions, in Rita's words. Hagrid
Rita.
is just curious.
True.
Maybe.
He's pretty innocent.
So anyway, after lunch, after Care of Magical Creatures, they're heading to lunch, and then they go to double divination, which sounds awful, right? Well, maybe not when Ron's your friend again.
Why do they need double divination?
Oh, I don't know. That just sounds awful. But so they're friends again, and they're sniggering a lot in class at everything that she's saying. And Trelawney is especially unamused with them, and she snaps and says, I would think that some of us might be a little less frivolous had they seen what I have seen during my crystal gazing last night. As I sat here, absorbed in my needlework, the urge to consult the orb overpowered me. I arose, I settled myself before it, and I gazed into its crystalline depths.
I arose.
And what did you think I saw gazing back at me?
Nothing.
Ron mutters, an ugly old bat and outsized specs. But her answer, of course, was death.
Surprise! Never heard that come out of her mouth before.
But what if she really saw it?
Well, Harry brings the lulz today with this and says, if I dropped dead every time she's told me I'm going to, I'd be a medical miracle.
Aw, but you are.
He is.
True.
Attention, dear Swishes. Is that how she sounds?
Do the whole thing like that.
No.
Oh, come on.
Adventure is out there. Why settle for ordinary chain store coffee when you can have an adventure in every cup with Expedition Roasters? Artisanal roasters of pop culture coffees. Now you can experience a little theme park magic every day at your home. Each theme bag contains custom artwork done by a guest artist that makes it perfect for displaying in your kitchen or office.
Tiffany's losing it.
Try one of our premium wizard roasts like Book Spot Blueberry, Charming Chocolate Cherry, Cunning Caramel Crunch, which we're having today, or Big Hearted Butterscotch. All our coffees are certified gluten and allergen free. So start your coffee adventure today at expeditionroasters.com and use coupon code SwishFlick15 to save 15% off your first purchase. Brew your happy place.
That went a lot of different places.
I tried.
I
Did
thought that
it go to your happy?
I thought it
place,
was
though?
great.
I had a good time, and I want to thank everyone for being here.
Because we're having a good time. Having a good time.
Good job, Tiffany.
Thanks. But honestly, we are having Cunning Caramel Crunch
We are.
today. Always a good
I
time.
had the dark side yesterday.
Yes.
Always delicious.
Did you try it?
It's very, very, very good. So I'm going to need to order a bag of it.
I think that we should probably get some more coffee for Swish and Flick here.
I'm down.
All right.
down.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible's offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/SwishFlickcast and browse all of the different audio programs that they have. You can pick any one that you want for free and start listening. Audible has an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. You can get all 7 of the Harry Potter books, Fantastic Beasts, Quidditch Through the Ages, History of Magic, and more. I listen to all the Harry Potter books on Audible on my long drives to and from work that are even longer thanks to construction season.
Dude.
Thank you, Route 8 in Ohio.
Right.
When you sign up, you get 1 audiobook for free, so you can pick whichever book that you'd like. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/SwishFlickcast.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Ooh, this is so good.
Do you still have
So I had plain coffee to start, and then I just poured my caramel crunch.
Okay, my turn.
It's yellow.
Hermione wasn't at dinner, and she also wasn't in the library when Harry and Ron went to go look for her. But Crumb was in there, and Ron was, thank you, debating whether or not he should go get his autograph. And then he realized there was 6 or 7 girls lurking behind a row of books talking about the exact same thing.
Ding, 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 ding.
Don't worry, Ryan. You're going to change your tune in about 2 books. 2
Honestly,
chapters, I mean.
he flips so
Oh, yeah.
much.
Hashtag hormones.
I mean, he needs to just pluck up the courage and not be a dingbat.
Ooh, a dingbat.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
I like that word.
I enjoy that. Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
My mom calls people that a lot.
Does she?
Yes.
That's awesome. I love when your dad calls people morons in the car.
Oh my God.
Get out of the way, you moron.
Yeah, he like says it in such
My
a specific
dad.
way.
He does. It's amazing. It's so
I
good.
kind of miss my dad hasn't been able to drive because he had a hip replacement. Can't get all his good driving quotes lately.
It wasn't until Harry and Ron were almost inside the Gryffindor common room that Hermione comes sprinting towards them down the corridor, and she's like, "Harry, you have to come with me. The most amazing thing has happened." And she literally drags him away with her. Were you gonna say something? Okay. So they go down 6 floors, and they head to where Cedric Diggory had gone the night that him and Harry had been chosen out of the goblet. And Harry's never been through that way before. Best part of the castle, just saying. So instead of ending up in like a gloomy underground passage like when they go to Snape's dungeons, they end up in a broad stone corridor, brightly lit with torches and decorated with cheerful paintings that were mainly of food. Super fitting.
I wonder where they're going.
Yeah.
Food everywhere? What?
So Harry thinks he's catching on to Hermione's plan. because he sees that big painting with the gigantic silver fruit bowl. He's like, Hermione, you're not trying to rope us into that spew stuff again. Sorry, Ron said that. And Hermione's like, no, it's not spew. And Ron's like, what? Did you change the name? Is it the House Elf Liberation Front? And like, shout out to Ron for coming up with something right on the spot like that.
I actually really love that name.
So do I.
It
seems
sounds
very
better than
fitting.
spew.
Yeah.
It's SPEW, Sarah.
I prefer puke.
Oh my God.
Vomit.
So Hermione insists she's not trying to get them to say anything to the elves, but she has to show Harry something. So she shoves him inside. Oh, well, first she has to tickle the pear. I'm going to read that because it's cute. She seized his arm again, pulled him in front of the picture of the giant fruit bowl, stretched out her forefinger, and tickled the huge green pear. Stop tickling me. It began to squirm, chuckling, and suddenly turned into a large green door handle. Hermione seized it, pulled the door open, and pushed Harry hard in the back, forcing him inside.
Oh, gosh.
He had one brief glimpse of an enormous high-ceiling room, large as the great hall above it, with mounds of glittering brass pots and pans heaped around the stone walls, and a great... What?
Stone is a color, right?
No.
What?
And a great brick fireplace at the other end.
What? There's your episode. Stone is a color. What is happening?
It's like a gray color.
That would be a gray stone wall. I did not say a color.
Whatever.
Oh, when something small hurtled toward him from the middle of the room, squealing, "Harry Potter, sir! Harry Potter!"
No, you
Can
gotta
someone
do
do
better
it?
than that.
Yeah.
No, you do it.
Wait, how does he sound, though?
Harry Potter, sir! Harry Potter!
No. It's got to be squeakier
That's
than
how
that.
Jim Dale sounds.
Harry Potter!
That is not.
I come to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah, it kind of sound like Voldemort almost.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, boy who lived. Come to die. Come to the kitchen.
Whenever I hear him talk now, he was just on Live with Regis and Kelly. Nope,
Can you-
it's called Kelly and Ryan. And I was like,
Regis! Throwing it back to the Reg!
I mean, I used to watch it those days too. I've been an old lady for a long time. But I saw him on there and I was like, God, like I will never not, like obviously he doesn't really look like how he looked in the movies.
Yeah.
They CGI'd his nose out. But he said he like always sounds like him, you know?
Yeah. Continue.
All right, so what is this small creature squealing and squeaking at Harry Potter? It's Dobby,
It's Dobby, it's Dobby, oh Lord.
who's
Standing in the Hogwarts kitchen.
he's hugging Harry so hard Harry thinks his ribs might break, which is just so cute.
Gross.
Your face is gross.
And Dobby's been hoping to see Harry Potter, and here's Harry Potter coming to see him.
Oh
my God.
God. So cute.
Well, not really.
Oh. But that's right. Oh. That is a sad tweet.
Yeah. It's all right. Things end up all right in the end, ish.
Ish.
Well,
Not for Dobby.
That's like Stone being the color.
He was there for him, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, there's no other way that Dobby would have went out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
I mean, if he was meant to die, at least Harry was with him the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Can we pour one out for Dobby?
Dude,
Yes.
but not on the
No.
carpet.
I'll just drink it.
Thank you.
Taking sips for sadness.
So many options for an episode title. Which shall it be?
You should just put it in the show notes. These are also options.
So Dobby lets go and stares up at him with tears of happiness in his eyes.
Oh.
And he looks just like Harry remembered. Pencil-shaped nose, bat-like ears, long fingers and feet. But his clothes are very different, so no more the dirty old pillowcase. But he was wearing the strangest assortment of garments Harry had ever seen. He had done an even worse job of dressing himself than the wizards at the World Cup. He was wearing a tea cozy for a hat on which he had pinned a number of bright badges, a tie patterned with horseshoes over a bare chest, a pair of what looked like children's soccer shorts, and odd socks. One of these, Harry saw, was the black one Harry had removed from his own foot and tricked Mr. Malfoy into giving Dobby, therefore setting Dobby free. The other was covered in pink and orange stripes. So Dobby came to work at Hogwarts, and Dumbledore gave him and Winky, who's also there, jobs.
You're like, and Winky, who's also there.
She's struggle bus. Let's be real.
I'm not. A
I
fan
like-
of Winky.
I mean, let's talk about some tears of sadness right there, am I right?
That's sips
True.
for sadness. If,
Oh, she
uh,
gets for
sips.
that. She sips
What?
quite a lot later.
She has buckets of sadness coming out of her eyeballs.
Tureens, if you will.
A jet stream. A jet stream of sadness.
A vat.
Oh my God.
This is the vat of sadness.
AKA my life.
Oh my God. So we get a little bit of a behind the scenes as to like how the kitchens and food work at Hogwarts, because Harry notices that there's 4 thank you, long wooden tables in the kitchen directly underneath the 4 house tables above them. So clearly some sort of magic happens. They lay it all out on those tables and whoop, through the ceiling. There it is to all the kids.
Yes. I really, really loved this part of this book.
Yes.
I just like, I mean, like, obviously the kitchen, or I never thought about the kitchens until this book, whenever like the elves were.
Yeah, Ron. Hermione's mad at you. Where do you think you get the food from?
I know, but like it just magically appears. So like you just never even like contemplated where it came from. It was just like, oh, it just appears on the tables, and it's like, well, where did this come from?
The house elves are slaving away for you.
I know. I told you I would be Hermione. I would feel bad, and
Still eat.
no, I would make my own food in the gardens. Hagrid. Anyway.
Hagrid.
I would make my own food. Hagrid.
I would use Hagrid's garden. That's what I meant.
All she would eat all year is one of those giant pumpkins.
Yeah.
Just like feast on it all
She'd
year
have
long.
pumpkin pie. She'd have pumpkin pasta.
Pumpkin
Pumpkin
tarts.
chili.
Pumpkin lattes. Throw a little spice in there.
What else?
Pumpkin
do you
seeds.
Mm.
What other pumpkin
See,
things
I could
can
live
we
off
name?
pumpkin.
You
She
set
can
up
even carve it into a house. They're so large.
Dude, you could live there.
you could
I
live
could.
next to
And eat
Hagrid.
there.
Yeah,
You
because
could be
then
like
the elves
James and
wouldn't
the
have to
Giant
clean
Peach.
it.
Oh,
Megan the Giant Pumpkin.
I like it.
Also, that's one of my favorite movies because I enjoy that they eat the the peach. You know,
Yeah.
It would
it's
be
one of my
called that
favorite
movie.
scenes.
Petrus and the Pumpkin.
Anyway, I love this scene because it was just so cool to like finally understand and have a visualization as to how it works. Like it's magic, but there's still a way to, there's like still more than that. You know, like, yeah, oh, they magically appear, but like right below you, this is how they magically appear. You know what I mean?
Do you think they're magically delicious?
I was gonna say that. You stole
All of
it.
the food at Hogwarts is magically delicious. It's got
Darn.
rainbows all over it.
Do you think that, like, if you magically make, like, say you magically make an apple pie versus making one from scratch homemade, do you think it's better? Like, which do you think is better?
I'm sure by hand is better.
I think it's a drastic
I don't know.
difference?
I think that it probably depends on your level of magic, because think like Mrs. Weasley's cooking is really good, and she uses magic
Yeah.
a lot to help. But do you think that somebody who is like less experienced with cooking doing magic, it wouldn't taste the same?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or like Queenie is really good at making like her apple strudel and everything. It's like her specialty, she says, right? So
Yeah. I feel
I'm
like,
sure that
yeah,
it
yeah,
plays
yeah.
a role. Like your skill level plays a role.
For
in it.
sure.
But, like, what if you make it on a Monday and you've got all this time in the world? Not that you really, she whips up her apple strudel and then, like, she makes it again in a month and she just, like, has a lot on her mind and makes it. Do you think that would affect it?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it
so.
would. I like
It has
that.
nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I like it a
We're
lot.
talking about the kitchens and food. It fits.
Food.
I like food.
Sames.
I like jokes.
I like jokes.
I like jokes.
What is that from?
Family Guy.
Oh, really?
What's
I
Family
don't
Guy?
like Family Guy. Shoot. I guess it's kind
Okay,
of funny.
You can leave now.
You don't have to like the whole show. You can enjoy the jokes.
Yeah. People are probably like, she doesn't like Family Guy. Sorry.
I'm also sure
To
people
each
are
their
like,
own.
can you go back to talking about the Harry Potter?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either. I
People
heard he's a
love us
wizard.
for us.
But we don't know what a wizard is.
me for me.
Shut. Get out of my head. Because I'm singing that. I'm like, she likes me for me.
I promise that you'll never find another like me.
Promise that you'll never find another like me. Hee hee hee.
Is that bell ready?
All right, go, 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 go.
You have that bell ready?
Oh,
There are at least 100.
No.
that was
100 times.
That's
No.
a bad. There you
Thank
go.
you.
There's something wrong with this bell.
Give it to me.
You.
Share this one with me.
I'm not sharing.
Oh my God. Passing
Are
of
you
the
sure
bells.
one of these aren't a bad bell?
Yes, the bad bell is here.
We did buy 2 at first, so that might be the other one.
I'm just proving to her that it was her fingers, not mine.
I think
and not the
you have to
bell.
like hit it with a little finesse there, lady.
You can't. Yeah, you can't like go like that.
You gotta.
Even though I'm trying to do what you did, and it still sounds better.
Okay. Katie, please continue.
All right, hundreds of little elves standing around the kitchen, beaming,
Is the bell.
That was a good one.
beaming, bowing, and curtsying as Dobby leads Harry to Winky. And they're all wearing a tea towel stamped with the Hogwarts crest tied like a toga.
That's
Oh, I like
adorable.
that. Can I get that?
Right?
Maybe I'll do that for Halloween.
Yeah. Yes,
God.
the Hogwarts
Dude,
house.
please.
So Winky's by the fire. Oh, unhappy baby upstairs. Winky's by the fire. She had a neat little skirt and blouse with a matching blue hat that had holes for her ears. So while Dobby's clothes, though they're very strange, they were very clean and well cared for, but Winky not so much. She clearly wasn't taking care of herself. She had soup stains all down her front and a burn in her skirt. So she's going through some stuff.
I can't read correctly because I thought that said a bum. I'm like, what?
Yep, a bum in her skirt.
mean, she does.
There is a bum in her skirt.
There is a bum.
A little house elf
is in
bum.
my skirt.
She's got a little tush.
All the way down to a tush.
So Harry says hi to Winky, and clearly that's way too much because she bursts into tears. Harry's real smooth with those ladies. How was it? Wet. So Hermione tries to comfort her and like, good luck. Dobby suggests a cup of tea, and about 6 house elves instantly come over carrying a large silver tray. It's got teapot, cups for all 3 of them, a milk jug, a large plate of biscuits, and Ron's like, good service, which Hermione's not too excited about, but the elves were like delighted by it. So quick fact to round off my section from the wiki. So Helga Hufflepuff, woo, 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 brought the house elves into work so that they could avoid being abused. Which I think Hermione should super like, because maybe that's over 1,000 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So she might think like, I can't change anything about the house elves, but maybe I can give them a safe place to be.
Yeah.
She also created many of the recipes used to this day at Hogwarts. So all those delicious foods. Thank you, Miss Hufflepuff. And then a quick fact from the lexicon about the Hogwarts kitchens. So it's a convenient setup that allows the house elves to arrange the tables and serve the food without being seen by those who serve. But this is kind of drastic, but notice that the arrangement also puts the house elves literally below the wizards and witches that they serve.
Well, it's kind of like how if you ever watch like Downton Abbey, like they are very like in houses like that, or back in those days, you know, the people that were serving the food, like you would try to never really see them.
Yeah.
Although obviously there's not magic to like bring it up, but
Right.
they ate downstairs and everything. Because there's even another show called like Upstairs, Downstairs. It's like that.
Yeah. Just thought it was I don't know, someone thought of it and took it
Yeah.
there. It's kind of sad. But
It's my turn. It's my turn. Everyone listen to my turn.
We have Miss Rose with us on the podcast.
hi.
What up, Sweet Pea?
Waiting for a bottle, so we're going to hang in for 5 minutes.
Works for me.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about Dobby. Let's talk about his issues. I don't know.
Party.
So Dobby has been at Hogwarts for a week already, which we know, Katie told us. And he tells Harry and company he's been traveling around the country for 2 whole years trying to find work, but he hasn't had any luck because he wants to get paid. And everyone's like, nah, bro. And it's like interesting that like the rest of the house elves literally distance themselves from him when he starts talking about it. And like Hermione's like super proud of him. But he's like, but most wizards don't want a house elf who wants paying, miss. That's not the point of a house elf, they says. They slam the door in Dobby's face.
Rude.
It's interesting that he talks in third person.
I know.
Yeah.
So we know Dobby the free elf found out that Winky had also been freed. And so he was like, girl, let's go to Hogwarts. We're going to work together. Yada, yada. And he pretty much figured that Hogwarts had enough for 2 little small house elves. And it's right. They did. And I said Dumblebro was like,
Dumblebro.
sure thing, Dob. Come make me a sandwich, broski.
I am not sure about that, but okay.
Oh my god.
We'll go with
I
it.
forgot that I wrote all of that in my notes. And old man Dumbledore is even going to pay Dobby a whole galleon a week, and he gets a day off a month. Whoop, whoop, woo! And soon he can buy a wand. And I was like, haha, joke's on him. He's not allowed to have one.
I wonder if Dumbledore offered to pay more.
He did.
And
He did.
Yeah, because it
Okay.
says Hermione doesn't think that's a lot. And she's like, well, that's not that much. And I was like, well, it's not really up to her. And then Dobby tells her that Dumbledore offered to give him more, but Dobby beat him down, miss. Dobby likes freedom, miss, but he isn't wanting too much, miss. He likes work better.
Dumbledore offered him like 10 galleons a week
Yeah.
and weekends off. And
Yeah.
Dobby's like, ooh, I
like,
don't
it's
even know what
like
to do
way
with
too
that.
much.
Yeah. Back down, Dumbledore. Too much, too much.
Broski, love ya, but nah.
Too much at once.
And thinking that asking Winky about her pay would cheer her up, Hermione did, and Winky was none too pleased. So from the book, it says Winky did stop crying, but when she sat up, she was glaring at Hermione through her massive brown eyes, her whole face sopping wet and suddenly furious. So Winky says that she's a disgraced elf and is ashamed to be free. And Hermione tries to get her to see that it's Mr. Crouch who should be ashamed and that Winky did nothing wrong. And we find out that like she's been, her family's been with Crouch forever.
Literally,
Winky,
man.
yeah. Winky won't let Hermione say anything bad about her master. And then Dobby's like, tells Harry that Winky has had a hard time adjusting and that she forgets she isn't bound to Mr. Crouch anymore and she can speak her mind. And then Harry's like, oh, like that's an interesting thing to say. So he's like, can't house elves speak their minds about their masters then? Harry asked. Oh, no, sir. No, said Dobby, suddenly serious. That's quite a change because I thought he was on the run. Someone else is very serious. And he says, "'Tis part of the house elves' enslavement, sir. We keeps their secrets and our silence, sir. We upholds the family's honor, and we never speaks ill of them." And then he goes on to say, if Dobby wanted to talk about Dumbledore and his secrets, he could, because he is a free elf. But Dobby likes him so much, so he wouldn't do it because he's free to talk smack about the Malfoys all day, though, because they're not his masters anymore.
Yeah. Dude, can you imagine though?
Wow.
I'm surprised that Dobby's still alive. With all that he knows.
Maybe
Oh my
they
God.
don't think that much of him. Maybe they're like, oh, he like, you know what I mean?
I agree with
Like he's
that.
so insignificant that like that's one of the things that
That's kind of a fault in them.
like a
Correct.
blinding
Correct.
factor. Yeah.
So he goes on to say Dobby could tell Harry Potter that his old masters were dark wizards, and I was like, AKA them some big old Death Eaters, just eating death and stuff. Am I right? And because old habits die hard, Dobby runs over to one of the tables and starts to bang his head on it, saying, bad Dobby, and then they're like, stop it.
Yeah, I wish he wouldn't do that.
I mean, I think it's just so ingrained in himself
Yes.
that he just can't help it.
Yeah.
He just hasn't learned yet. And then Winky is not pleased with Dobby at all and says, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, Dobby, talking that way about your masters. And I was like, sweetheart, when will you learn? The Malfoys aren't Dobby's masters anymore, and he doesn't care what they think. And she says, oh, you is a bad elf, Dobby. My poor Mr. Crouch. What is he doing without Winky? He is needing me. He is needing my help. And then she goes on to say that she and her family have been serving the Crouches for years. She did it before her. It was her mother and her grandmother before that. And honestly, it was probably even her mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now she's been sacked. Oh, the horror. That reminds me of the Page Master movie. The horror. AKA shame, shame, shame. Double shame. I'm just kidding. But really, that's how she's feeling. So Hermione is there, kind of being, in my opinion, a little insensitive to Winky because she responds with, I'm quite sure Mr. Crouch is getting along perfectly well without you. And I said, really, that's not the right thing to say to her at all. Like, that's not a comforting thing.
That probably, like,
Made it
hurts her
worse.
so much.
In my opinion, Hermione is here being very insensitive to Winky because she responds with, I'm quite sure Mr. Crouch is getting along perfectly well without you. And I say that's not the right thing to say to her at all. And I think that... would it be like she lacks empathy, maybe? Not empathy.
She's
I
just
think
so
that
logical sometimes.
She's just so like focused on what she is thinking about with the house elves that to her she's trying to ingrain in Winky's mind like you don't need to be there for him. But
just
she
comes
words
off
it
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So she's quite insensitive to...
Yeah, I think this makes it worse.
She
for
just
Winky.
needs... She's not great, at least at this point in time, like seeing the perspective from other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She just
yeah.
has her
Agreed.
things. So then Winky obviously finds out that Crouch Sr. has been coming to Hogwarts with Mr. Bagman, and Winky gets angry saying that Mr. Bagman is a wise... Nope. Mr. Bagman is a bad wizard. A very bad wizard. My master isn't liking him. Oh, no, not at all. And then Harry's like, huh. So he tries to get out of her what she means with that, but she tells him her master has told her some things, but she won't say what they are because she wouldn't disrespect her master like that. And I said, she ain't no snitch. And then she dissolves into more tears. And then they were like, okay, we aren't going to get anything out of her. So let's go talk to Mr. Dob. That's what Dumbledore calls him. Dob. So Dobby lets them know that he's going to buy a sweater with his once he collects his next wages.
So cute.
And I wrote her and Dobby is a boy. And then Ron's like, you know what, bro? I got a sweater from Christmas. I'll give it to you when I get it. All right. And he's like, hope you don't mind maroon. And I'm like, it is kind of nice, but then he's like willing to give him his sweater, but it's also a little ungrateful. And I was like, I wonder how Molly would feel about this. But like Dumbledore, gosh darn it. Dobby is like just delighted.
Yeah.
But like, I wonder, like a part of me thinks that like she might be a little like miffed that he's giving away the present that she worked on. But at the same time, like, I think she'd be okay with
it
him
going to Dobby.
Yeah.
I wonder if she does that purely just for like, you know how sometimes people are like, oh, Christmas time, we want like a nice family picture. Like, do you think that she makes them all sweaters like that so that theoretically they could have like a nice family photo of them growing up in the same thing?
Every single year wearing the exact same sweater.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just for a picture?
maybe.
No, I think it's cute.
I just feel like if I would do it, like I'd want a different picture every year. So I'd make you a
Yeah.
different sweater, but whatever. Molly, you do you, girl. So the trio then leave, but not without Harry and Ron taking a bunch of snacks that the elves offer them. But Hermione just simply refused. And there's actually an image, an illustration on Pottermore that's the house elves in the Hogwarts kitchen. And it just looks super
Oh,
inviting.
that's awesome.
Makes me hungry.
They're standing in front of the fire. Winky's on the floor crying. And it's like
Dobby.
Hermione's like on her knees, like down there with her, like probably trying to like console her in her not helpful way. And then like Harry, Ron, and Dobby are kind of just like standing off, being like, all right, I don't know what to say to you because you just are crying. And then you see like a bunch of other house elves. But it's
Why
cool.
is Winky
I
crying?
love the piles of copper.
She just
pots and
got
pans.
freedom. On their way back to the common room, Ron comments how he was very impressed with Fred and George for years because he's like, gosh, I don't know how you do it. You're able to nick all this food from the kitchen. But really, he finds out, he's like, it's not that hard. The house elves can't wait to give it away.
Isn't it funny how like as a young kid you can like look up to this person for like being able to do this amazing thing, and then like you're older and you realize that like
It's not that hard.
yeah.
I remember like in grade school being like in second grade and being like, oh my God, the 8th graders are so old. And then you get to 8th grade and you're like, oh my God, seniors in high school are so old. And then you get to be a senior
my
and
God,
you're
and
like,
now,
I'm not
like,
an
You don't
adult. What's
feel-
happening?
Yeah, you don't feel like
I still don't feel like I'm an adult.
You don't
Right.
feel like you've grown up
It's weird.
almost sometimes. Like you don't
yeah.
feel like you're like any older than you were then. So then like going and seeing somebody who's a senior in high school right now, you're like, oh my God, you look like a baby.
Also,
Yeah.
how are you allowed to like go off and be on your own?
Right.
For true,
And then
though.
choose what you're gonna do for the rest of your life if you decide to go to college.
For
Like,
true.
Yeah, and then like I mean, obviously you always look up to like, you know, teachers and like older people in your life who are like figures, like, you know, role model figures.
Right.
And then you're now potentially that age and you're like, dude, I'm just winging it.
I honestly like that's
like
what
I've been
adults
teaching
do.
for 7
know,
years.
like,
Like,
for
how is
me-
that even a thing?
Well, like it's so
Yeah.
mind blowing to me the people that are in my life that are teachers, and I'm like, I don't know if I want you teaching my youth. Not you,
me in particular, correct?
Definitely.
Sir Miss Hermione.
What?
So Miss
Hermione.
Oh, I thought you said,
You said
thermos.
Sir Miss. I was like, okay.
Hermione comments how this is the best thing that could have happened because she says, Dobby coming to work here, I mean. The other house elves will see how happy he is being free, and slowly it will dawn on them they want that too. Harry comments about Winky not being happy about it at all. So he's like, I don't know, bro, because Winky ain't happy. If Winky ain't happy, nobody's happy. But honestly,
Why's Winky
she might bring down all the group
Bring
vibe,
down
you
the
know?
house, man.
She's a Debbie Downer.
She's a whiny winky.
Ooh.
Ooh.
wimpy Wanda.
And I lost where I was gonna read. Do. And then Hermione goes, well, I'm sure she will cheer up once the shock has worn off.
Again, here's Hermione being
Well,
insensitive.
and realistically, this is in end of November, December. This is in December, correct?
Yes.
And Winky's been freed for months now. I mean,
Oh yeah, like literally, what, 6 months?
no, I don't think that long because it was in August,
I'm
right?
sorry, I was thinking July. for
What's
some
the
reason.
month?
Yeah, yeah,
August.
yeah.
December?
December. So she's gone through a full 3 months and then plus extra. So almost 4 months.
Like
Yeah.
a bad breakup, man.
Yes. Because she's like, she will see she is better off without Crouch, even though Ron points out that she seems to love Crouch. Like, so they're trying to be like, well, Hermione.
I think they were good at one point. You know what I mean? He wasn't like when he was normal.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that if the situation was different, like if he wasn't hiding his son under an Imperious curse and he got away, you probably wouldn't have freed her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Rookie stinking
Okay, it happened twice. I'm sorry.
move.
Done.
Third time's a charm.
Hey.
Somebody else do it.
I mean, it's Tiffany's turn. My computer's muted now.
What do you want me to do?
Oh, well, you had your baby. That counts.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So it's
She's
my
a
turn.
noise.
Oh, she's so cute.
She really is cute. But I like that Ron and Harry, because, you know, a lot of times in these books, it's Ron doing something dumb and Harry, not saying that this is dumb, but Ron doing something or Harry doing something, and they like Hermione and the other, they're like, oh, you might not want to do that. And so now you see where she's kind of jumped on this bandwagon and she's saying all these things, and they're like, yeah, but you got to kind of look at it from all the other sides. Like, Winky's clearly not happy. She seems to have loved Crouch. So, like, you're trying to make her seem like Crouch is this horrible guy where he's
not
kind
like-
of like a gray, you know? He's not the worst guy in the world, but he's not the greatest either. But she loved him. That was her family. So that's...
Because she was
went-
the only one there, right?
I mean, besides
He
the song.
seems like he's got some cashola. Why didn't he have more than one house elf? You know what I mean? Same with the
maybe-
Malfoys.
Well,
Is it
but-
too many
oh, no,
people
I
knowing
think-
things?
No,
Does
I
it
think the
seem-
Malfoys have more than... I think Dobby was just one of them.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh.
I always assumed it was just.
I always
Dobby.
assumed
I
the
always
same
assumed
too.
they had
I
a
always
ton.
assumed one because there's two. That would be like too many.
Well, and that's
people.
why
liabilities.
I think at least with
Knowing.
Crouch,
Yeah.
if there was too many people. But I'm assuming in a manor you need more than one house elf to clean everything, and
I don't know.
Maybe
They're
Dobby was just
constantly
one that was like
working.
one of their personal, like the personal family one, and they have ones in the kitchen. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
And taking care of the grounds. I would think.
I don't know. I
could
don't
see it.
know.
I
That's
could
a
see
really
it.
good question, though.
I don't know. I guess I always just assumed there was one per household.
Same.
I never thought. That thought never crossed my mind before, but
More than one. Well, I'm just thinking like how big
that's cool to
things
think
are, and like because Malfoy Manor. That's
they are
gigantic.
magical though. Like, do they really need more than one? You know, I mean, like
I
they
just
can-
always thought about.
No, that's
I
just
think
so
it
cool
maybe
that I literally
depends
never
on
thought about it. And
the
like,
size
it's
of-
such a thing that could happen.
like what they need. You know what I mean? You know, Hogwarts has like a ton of them, but there's a ton of people there and it's huge. But you also have to think some houses get really, really big. You know, Malfoy's house is gigantic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he's got a lot of land.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who tends to the peacocks?
Truth.
Do you think the peacocks are magical?
Probably.
Yeah, I think everything. They don't.
So maybe they take care of themselves.
They make their own sandwiches, broski.
I clean my own feathers.
The peacock's in the kitchen.
I scoop my own
Peacocks
poop.
in the kitchen, ma. Not again.
Nobody cleans my stall but me.
Are
Oh my
we
God.
ready?
Yes.
I'm here for it.
So he goes from the book. Doesn't think much of Bagman, though, does she? Wonder what Crouch says at home about him. And I said, I'm wondering the same thing. Bad as in he gambles too much and owes money to a lot of sketchy people and is probably willing to do some sketchy things because he wants money. You know what I mean? He just seems like a sleazeball. Or bad as in he likes Moldy Voldy.
I like multiple.
Well,
Because he's like accused.
do we not? Oh, yeah. I was going to say, like, we do know that he did have a connection to Voldemort.
But he like claims that like he didn't know. But did he know?
I kind of feel like Bagman is one of those people who would just say and do whatever to be on the best side
The
at
winning
any
side,
time.
you mean? That's
Correct.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, best
Yep.
side's not the right term. Winning side.
Yeah.
Whatever
He's
he
all
felt was
about
stronger.
making him be safe and him be on the side that he thinks is going to come out ahead.
Sounds
Correct.
like another Pettigrew. Sounds like another Karkaroff.
Agreed. He reminds me very much of Peter.
But like he's more flashy.
Yes.
Oh,
Like more
yeah.
confident, like in a you shouldn't be because you're not great. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a James and a Peter together, but more so like Peter
Correct.
being like gross human.
Yes. I
and
agree
Peter
in
being
that.
like, I'm a Quidditch star. Want to see my snitch? Catch me in the common room, 8 p.m.
Oh my god.
That honestly, that was probably Bagman though.
Okay.
All right.
Hermione thinks Crouch doesn't think. Hold on.
You said that right.
So
We're good.
Hermione goes, well, I bet you that Crouch doesn't think he's a very good head of department and that he has a point. And I was like, true is true.
Yeah, for sure.
So Ron would rather work for Bagman than Crouch, though. Sounds like a law firm. Do we Bagman and Crouch?
You made that joke before.
I did. Because at least Bagman has a sense of humor. And then they were like, I think Hermione goes, well, don't let Percy hear you say that. And he goes, Percy wouldn't recognize a joke if it danced naked in front of him wearing Dobby's tea cozy. And I said, I would also like to point out that since leaving the kitchens, every time Ron is mentioned, he's eating one of the snacks he's left with.
It's like a Harry Potter musical.
Yes. Every scene he's eating something.
Most of their budget was spent on that Hershey bar.
I know,
right?
it's crazy.
That's so funny.
There's an article on Pottermore, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because we don't have the time or the patience or the will to live anymore. What? And it's to spew or not to spew, and it's Hermione Granger and the pitfalls of activism. And it was like, if Hogwarts had a debating club, what might it say on the subject of Alf rights? And then they kind of explore both sides of the argument, spurred by Hermione and Spew.
Spurred.
So it's got some pros and some cons. I'm just going to read the cons.
You do you, boo.
Because, pro, they're free and stuff, whatever. And then, I kind of agree, but I kind of don't agree. So it says Miss Granger is at best overzealous and her goals are at worst unattainable. Hermione may have meant well, but at the same time did end up dragging a peaceful group into a political battlefield just because she felt that's what they should want. And I would like to point out, they should want. Was she helping or interfering in a culture she didn't understand? And they say this, and I 1,000% agree with this, and in real life situations where things like this happen. So Elves deserve a spokesperson who's sensitive to their needs, and Hagrid summed up the Spew situation like that. And I don't know if I agree with his argument. So it says, it'll be doing them an unkindness, Hermione. he said gravely, threading a massive bone needle with thick yellow yarn. It's in their nature to look after humans. That's what they like. See, you'd be making them unhappy to take away their work and insulting them if you try to pay them. But I think that in order for this type of argument, you need to have house elves in on the conversation, and maybe not someone so radical as Dobby, maybe someone that like, you know, that you can't just be like, well, this is what you should want and this is what you should do. You need to have them and say, like, what do you want and how do you feel about this? And let's sit down and have a conversation and not just put your beliefs on them.
Yeah.
That needs to be in everything in politics because
Correct.
Yeah.
there'll be a group of men sitting around in a room discussing
Whoa. Here we go.
women's reproductive rights, and that's not right.
Correct.
There shouldn't be a discussion on house elves without house elves present.
I mean, and
I
you
was
can
going to
say
use
that
the
about
exact same argument because it's crazy that a room full of men can decide what women can do with their bodies.
and you
know what I
can
mean?
and you can. I think we had this discussion about even work field. So, for example, my profession, we have a lot of people making decisions for me,
and none of them are teachers.
who they've never
Yes.
set foot in a classroom before.
Yes.
You can't be out of
Sorry
touch
to get a
when
little
you
political.
make a decision.
I mean, but
But
that's
it's
not
so
really
true.
that political.
It needs
This
to be
is just
said.
like
but there's a
common
lot
sense.
of, I mean, a lot of the things that have to do with Harry Potter are completely political. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Try to see what else they say in this. And so, like, though some house elves they might embrace the freedom and share Dobby's joy of sock ownership, others would struggle with their newly imposed status.
I love that term, sock ownership.
And it's like, so far, we've overlooked an important case study. And it says Winky was sitting on the same stool as last time, but she had allowed herself to become so filthy that she was not immediately distinguishable from the smoke-blackened brick behind her. Her clothes were ragged and unwashed. She was clutching a bottle of butterbeer and swaying slightly on her stool, staring into the fire. So that's from later on in this book. So like you almost see with Winky and Dobby the two extremes
She's like
of this
falling apart.
situation where she and I think too with her she came from a loving, like, she had a lot of love and she was willing to do a lot for her master. And I think we just caught them at a bad moment where he had a lot of things going on. And I think he took a lot of his, not again, I don't think he's the best guy in the world.
No.
But she doesn't know what to do without her family and being free, where all he's ever wanted because he came from a horrific house where we know like he had to punish himself all the time.
Yeah.
So we see these two extremes and we know the majority of the house elves are probably right in the middle. Like, I bet you that I think maybe, in my opinion, the house elves specifically working at Hogwarts know they have it great. So, like, they're thinking, oh my God, if we're free, like, he's going to make us leave. Like, Dumbledore would never do that.
Like, how are you going to be treated somewhere
yes.
else? Like,
And
they
so-
know it's not all roses.
Well, and I think that's part of, like, we don't want to be free. We don't want to leave Hogwarts, but they wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
I think that what Hermione does well here, though, like, obviously she has good intention. And I think that a lot of the times, like, in situations like this, I don't feel like Winky is common.
I don't think either one of them are
No, I
super
think they're
common.
both ends
Right.
of the
Yes.
spectrum. Like,
And I think that
Extremes.
even if there was, put this in another situation, like if there was somebody like Winky, they would eventually come to realize what they're missing.
or
I
at
would
least
think.
a small portion of it. Like, want just a taste. You know what I mean? Just like part of the thing. Pick and choose. And you should be able to.
And again, like, maybe she does like the work she does, and that's great. But she also needs to come to the realization that it is out of date. She should get paid for what she's doing. And she shouldn't be, like, stuck there because of some medieval thought process. You know what I mean? And it's just like again, like, what Hermione wants to do is great. She just needs to come up with, like, a more gentle approach to get it started. Whereas she is all like gung ho, go, go, go. We need to, like, shove
Extremes.
this on everybody. But she's 14 and she doesn't know.
She has room to grow, which they all do.
Exactly.
Every single one of them does.
Exactly. And, like, she doesn't necessarily, I mean, how many of these situations at that time has she, like, lived through or understood to be able to, like, see a proper example of how she should go about this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and it does say in this article, because then it goes kind of like talking more about Winky and how, she's clearly depressed. And they go, she even started hitting the bottle. Yes, it's only butterbeer, but who knows the damage that'll do to an elf over time. And then like Hermione just basically cites the shame imposed on Winky by her culture as the sole reason for her unhappiness, which I don't think is. I think that's part of it, but I mean
She's being extreme with it.
been with Crouch her entire life, and she obviously cared for him, cared for his family. Like she had genuine love for her family. You know,
he didn't mistreat her, so she never felt like I want to run away from here.
Correct. And so then it says at the end. It says, by witnessing this firsthand, yet refusing to rethink her agenda, Hermione appears to care more for moral crusading than the people she is supposed to be helping. But again, she, like Megan said, she's only, at this time, she's actually 15. Not that it really matters.
Oh, right. Yeah, because of September.
But
right.
she's a kid, and she's got room to grow. And I think by the time that she like gets to her adulthood, things are
she
probably
becomes
better.
Minister of Magic.
Yeah.
Like, clearly she ends up knowing what she needs to do.
And it's then there's final thoughts in the article, and it says the trouble with SPEW is that Hermione wants it all and wants it now. Political movements take time as well as effort, so the notion of changing the world overnight is quite naive, which really Rome wasn't built in a day. And this is even when people are well-meaning, there's always the risk of doing more harm than good. Yeah.
I also just want to point out that like Hermione's thinking here is not bad.
No.
Yes, she wants to change the world overnight. There need to be more people who want to change the world overnight, because the more people who think the way that Hermione does in these situations, that's when change happens.
Yeah.
So the more people that are as eager as her, yes, you have to take a step back and realize this legitimately will not happen overnight, but we can take steps to make change happen. In any situation.
And I think a lot of times, too, people just get complacent and they don't. Change is hard.
Yeah.
And, this isn't right what we're doing. And, but what's going to happen? Like, it could go bad. It could go, And I think that's part of why a lot of other people, like, aren't willing to do anything.
Like, Katie and I just watched the movie On the Basis of Sex, which was about...
Ruth Ginsburg Bader.
Thank you. Bader Ginsburg, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And it talks about the challenges that she had. She was ridiculously qualified in her position. She went to Harvard. She went to, where did she finish? It starts with a C, doesn't it? Columbia. So she got her law degree from Columbia. And like she was one of 6 women in the Harvard program, and that's it. And the dean of her college legitimately like sat them down and asked, why are you here and not a man? Why did you take this spot from a man? And like she overcame that. Yeah. And even with her degree, she couldn't get a job. With a degree from Harvard and I can't remember
Columbia.
What is it? Columbia, Harvard and Columbia. She still couldn't get a position anywhere. And like the one that this just drives me nuts, the guy told her that he wouldn't hire her because the wives of the men who lived there would be jealous.
Yeah. No, that seems right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of like am relating this to Hermione here, where it's like, yeah, clearly Ruth Bader Ginsburg knew that change needed to happen, but she also realized it wasn't going to happen overnight. So she took this random case, and because of this one case that she took that actually discriminated against a man for... it was for taxes or something. It was like a tax thing that he wasn't able to get a deduction for some reason because a caretaker was only classified as a woman. And he was a caretaker for his mom because he was a bachelor, which like wasn't common. So the law discriminated against him. But because she took that case and she won it, it set the pace for a ton of sex-based, gender-based laws to be overturned because of that. And she changed the game.
Yeah.
It was an amazing movie. Shout out to Felicity. What's her last name?
Can't help you on that one.
She was in the Rogue One. The lead of Rogue One.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not good with actor names.
Okay, well,
I know who
she
you're
played
talking
Ruth
about.
Bader Ginsburg. She was awesome. That movie was really good, though. And it just, like, reminds me very much of, like, kind of what Hermione needs to take a look at.
Yeah. And I think she learns that because she never really gives up on it,
No, and she does have change happen in time with the house elves, so...
Yeah, so it's like it's an important thing, and you really should, like, if you see something wrong with the world and you want to change, I guarantee you there are other people that
who agree with you.
who want the same thing. And so it goes on to like talk about more stuff. So it's an interesting article. You know, because we even see like Creature, you know, he's another house elf. It's just like, think of how he changed when he was treated with kindness by his new master, Harry Potter.
Yep.
So before then he was like, not great. He was a word I am not allowed to say. And then like once Harry was like, because again, Sirius never liked him because I don't think he was even nice to him when he was growing up.
Yeah,
So then he had to live
not
with
being nice to him is why Sirius died. If
Didn't
I'm
help.
being honest.
Awkward.
And then like he ends up helping them. So you just show some kindness and
Like never would have thought of that from Creature.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thought and thinks and
Thoughts to think.
let's get political. Just kidding.
No.
Let's get shocked into lightning bolt round.
Yes. Anybody have any questions?
I think the Discord does.
The Discord.
I
Tam says,
don't
if
know.
you were Hermione, how would you handle spew? What would you try to educate the witches and wizards?
Kind of like I guess what we just talked about. You know, you need to take baby steps.
Yeah.
And one small change can set the groundwork for a lot of big change.
Yes.
I mean, and I think for me is like I try to get all of the information out there. Like you can choose what you do with this, but I don't want people to like stay ignorant because that's how things get confused and like just be open and honest
how
and be
things
like,
don't
this is
change.
exactly how, you know. It's hard
Or
to
like the
say.
argument of saying, well, that's how it's been for years.
It means nothing.
Yeah, that's not a valid argument.
Like that just means like, okay, so you're fine with just stupid. Don't say that.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
ignorant thing to say.
Yes.
Vinny says he has more of a request. Pitch a new character to add to the series, something that you feel lacks in the story. All
I've got
four of
one.
us need to be in the story.
I have an important one. And I understand that these books came out in the 90s, but it would have been so cool to have an LGBTQ member of the community somewhere in the book that wasn't Dumbledore. Because,
Yeah.
like, that wasn't really
Like a student, maybe?
a student. Yeah. It would have been really cool. But, like, I also understand the time that it came out in and, like, why it isn't there. But it's still something that, like, I yearn for when I'm reading them.
Yeah. I see that. More snacks.
More dogs.
Ooh, dogs. But those are not approved pets of Hogwarts.
They should be. They're better than cats.
No,
Am I
they're
right?
not.
Tiffany, I'm not going to say anything to create a controversy, but I will.
It's
No.
okay. We're
Dogs
split
for
50-50.
It's fine. You're either dog person, cat person, or you love both.
Or no animals.
I'm okay with both. I'm
like
telling
both.
you, I've only met your cats. They're the only cats that are really have ever been nice to me.
Heck yes.
It's because they're the best cats. They're quality cats.
Quality kitties. Quality
No,
floofs.
they're fabulous
Aw.
feline.
Oh, but I like quality.
Yeah.
All right.
If you were at Hogwarts in the trio's year, who would you have looked up to? Like, example, older students and teachers. I would have looked up to McGee
Yeah.
big time.
McGee.
Probably McGee.
And then we don't really know too many older students, but I'm sure there would have been like some
Honestly-
really cool seventh year that I would have been like, oh my God, they're awesome.
Honestly, probably Cedric would have been up there,
Oliver
even though Oliver Wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Angelina.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
Well, there's a mirror above my bed, so I would just look up to me.
Literally.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
That's a very Sarah answer.
Oh God.
Am I like Harry's year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably Fred and George, to be honest with
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Red and
funny.
Forge. Yep.
True.
you. True is true.
Those
Or I
canary
would like
creams are just
reminisce
so
of the
funny.
days where like I could have been with Charlie. I just think he's probably the hottest Weasley. That's why they didn't put him in the movies. There's too much hotness to handle in a movie.
He's
And Ed
technically-
mean,
Sheeran probably wasn't available or something. Maybe he was on tour. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I
Writing
mean, he's
some
younger
songs.
than us,
Singing
so
some
he
songs.
would be.
Really?
Yeah. I think
He
he's like. I mean,
is?
he's like 28. I mean, when I say he's younger than
Oh.
us, like by a year or two.
He could be my friend. Him and Taylor Swift and me. Best buddies.
Best buddy.
Next question.
Do you think Dumbledore also employed Dobby to get the inside scoop on the Malfoys? Maybe that's one of the secrets that Dobby is holding for Dumbledore.
I don't think he cares.
I don't. Yeah, I genuinely
it
don't think
maybe
he cares
was-
at this point.
like a bonus. Like I don't think that he thought that when
I
he
don't
hired
think he
him,
would
but
ever ask Dobby.
I think
don't think
I
so?
mean,
No, because I don't think he wants Dobby to have to remember all that
I think
stuff.
we have to think about the things that Dumbledore knows that we don't know that he knows. Like
Everything.
yeah, he's not really
Everything.
I think
not a
he
threat.
pro-
Malfoys aren't a threat to him.
He
Not at this
probably
time,
knows.
especially.
I mean, even in the 6th year, he's not a threat because he's like, bro, I'm dying anyway, so just kill me. Put me out of my misery.
yeah.
Sorry if you're listening to us and you haven't read the books yet.
well, you know.
We're not
Oh,
spoilers.
Kelsey, Felicity Jones. That's the actress who played RBG. in the
Thank
She's
movie.
also in Rogue One. I
Yeah.
really love that movie a lot.
She's also in The Theory of
Diego.
Everything
Diego Luna's in
with
that
our
movie.
boy Newt Scamander.
Oh, Newt Scamander.
Tis all.
That's all from the chat.
Hold on. I want to think if I had any questions to ask you. All right. Are you ready? We haven't done this in a while. I want you to close your eyes. You're nice and cozy. I have two. It's a two-parter. Nice and cozy in the Hogwarts kitchen.
Ooh,
You got your friendly house elves all around you.
I know where this is going.
You're ignoring Winky's sobbing because you know that's just ugh,
Annoying.
makes you wanna whatever. First question.
Yep.
What do you think it smells like?
Pot roast.
Ooh, I like that. I like that answer.
I always picture kitchens that are like that are super homey, smelling like frying onions in butter, you know?
Ooh. I like that.
Thanksgiving.
Ooh,
Just like all those mixes of smells.
I can't get the smell of cinnamon rolls out of my head, so that's what I think it would smell like.
I guess it would depend on the time of day. Maybe if you're there in the morning, it would be cinnamon rolls.
Give me another part. Part two.
What's
My
part
next-
two?
Part two.
What kind of snacks would you like them to have? Bring back.
Oh my god, tarts. And
Jam
scones.
tarts and scones and clotted cream.
That's
God,
not
Hogwarts.
snack.
Yes,
Hogwarts
it is.
yes, it is. a scone.
Hogwarts clotted cream. Oh my god.
Lemon curd.
Barfarooski. I'm going for chips.
I would like beef sliders.
May I get a hamburger, extra ham?
Is that also
Hold the
Family Guy?
burger. Can I?
Is that Family Guy?
No, that was a
That's just-
Tiffany
that's
original.
I would like a ham and cheese sandwich without the cheese. Thank you.
Yeah, we've received intelligence that you're grilling up hamburgers in this establishment. We're gonna have to go ahead and take some.
I would like some fried onions on it and some provolone cheese and yeah. And then just cut it up for me and then put it in my mouth. Thanks.
Triangle shapes.
I'm trying to think of what other questions I have for you. Do. Harry's World.
Dude, I'm so sick of Sesame Street right now. It's only beginning.
What would? Okay, got another question for you.
Alana's world.
That's what we're living in.
It's true.
Lady Supreme.
The Supreme Lady, Alana Rose.
Oh, jeez. She's
All
so
right.
cool.
You're in the common room.
Okay.
You're about to crack open that egg.
Yay.
What would you want to come out of it?
Candy.
Like a really obvious clue that tells me exactly what
Maybe something written that I can
What would you do if you open it up and there's a note and be like, you just got punked?
feel like good. I don't have to do this task.
right.
But like, what song?
Oh.
A jarring song. Is there a song that you're like,
Look
"Ooh,
at this stuff. Isn't it
The
neat? Do you get it?
Black Lakes
Mermaids.
World.
that's perfect.
What?
Some Ariel stuff.
So look at this stuff. Isn't it neat?
Wouldn't you think my
Collection's complete.
Wouldn't you think I'm a girl?
The girl who has everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos.
Can you
aplenty.
imagine one of the Black Lake mermaids singing that song?
What if you just saw like
Who's
Ariel
it and
swim
what's
by in
it
the background?
Okay, songwriters,
Oh.
you're listening. Write us a song about the mermaids, oh Hogwarts, that goes to the tune of
Singing
Part of This World.
Part of this world. Part of your world.
I have the tiger.
Ooh.
Dun, 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 dun. As soon as you open it.
It's the eye of the mermaid.
The thrill of the swim.
You will have to be here for 2 hours. Or it's 1 hour.
Sure, whatever. All right.
I have the tiger. You said Part of Your World.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Oh, I have to pick a song? I thought that
Welcome.
my answer was that I just want a perfect clue.
No, and then I said if you were going to pick a song.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad that you listen to me when I talk.
Probably Under the Sea.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a
too.
good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
you, man?
Let me think.
What about like Rubber Ducky? Speaking of Sesame Street. Go take a bath.
Poo-doo.
Well, it's not really a
egg
song.
is
We
so
could be like,
much
just
fun.
keep swimming. Just keep swimming. It's just Dory popping up. Just keep swimming.
Swimming.
She's like,
I don't know what I was supposed to
and
actually tell you.
friend.
They'd be
From me.
perfect.
Hey there, grumpy gills.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, boy.
I have one other question.
Sure.
What kind of bird would you want Neville to turn into if it wasn't a canary? Like what colors or something?
A cardinal.
Okay.
Because they're the bomb.
I have an answer. A big bird.
Oh, my God.
Get me out of this basement.
Get me out of here.
Please don't.
A hummingbird.
A toucan.
Very small bird.
Toucan Sam. Toucan Neville. Toucan.
Toucan.
It's time.
For the story.
The fan story.
This is a special fan story because it was requested to be read specifically on this episode. I didn't read it ahead of time because I wanted it to just be like a surprise as to whatever it was. So
out.
this story comes from Cody Sambarano. I hope I said that right, Cody. Hi
She's
there.
usually pretty active in the group.
Hi there, my name is Cody. My house is Gryffindor, although my heart tells me I'm a Hufflepuff. I got you. My wand is silver lime wood with unicorn hair, 10 3/4 inches with slightly yielding flexibility. My Patronus is a wildcat.
What?
And my Ilvermorny house is Horned Serpent. Yeah. When I was 8, about to turn 9, my mother decided she was going to send me to live with her sister and her sister's husband. It wasn't until the last few years that I have grown to understand how much they did for me. My mother never made me actually do schoolwork. She never made sure that I had an interest in learning. My parents were the exact opposite. Upon starting school under my parents' care, I was attending a college preparatory Catholic school. One of the things that this Catholic school had in its curriculum was the scholastic book tests. Yes.
Those were the bomb. I had so many personal pan pizzas because of it.
Yes, when I tested into this new school, the consensus was to hold me back. So instead of continuing 4th grade for the last few months, I went into 3rd grade. When starting 4th grade, I read 2 books that I don't remember, but passed the scholastic test for them with 100% and was looking for something new to read. My mother recommended Harry Potter. She stated that not only was there multiples of them, meaning multiple tests, they were also very good, and she had already read them. She warned me about chapter 1, so I raced through it, then could not put the book down when I got to chapter 2. Now, I started reading the book about a month or 2 before the movie was released. I was on the last 2 chapters when we went to see the movie. After seeing the movie, I thought to myself, hey, I've seen the movie. I can take the test without reading the last 2 chapters. I was wrong. When my mother found out that I got an 80% on the test, she asked if I had finished the book. When I told her I had not, she told me that I was not allowed to see any of the next movies until I had read the books.
Oh, love it.
I was done with 2 through 5 as those were the only ones that were out in about 2 months. Scored 100% on all tests. We watched the movies as they came out, and then came the release for Half-Blood Prince. My mother had pre-ordered the book, and we drove to Barnes & Noble to pick it up. I told her that I wanted to read the book first. She stated that because she was the one who purchased it, she would be reading it first. When we got home, she placed the book on the kitchen table and went to the bathroom. Fool. I grabbed the book and ran into my room, locked the door, and pulled my little bookcase behind it.
That sounds like me.
To make sure she could not get in. When she started knocking on the door demanding the book, I yelled, I'm already reading it. You can have it when I'm done. I only came out of the room to run to the bathroom, and yes, I had the book on me the whole time.
Yes.
I honestly don't even remember eating that day, although I do love food, so I'm sure I did. I remember getting to the scene where Dumbledore dies at about 4 a.m. the next morning. I remember crying my eyes out and being so mad at myself for reading it first because I realized that I wasn't going to be able to talk to anybody about it until either my mom or my dad read the book. Luckily, my friend George called me because he had read it as well, so we cried together. Fast forward to 2016. I received information from my mother and father that my mother has found a lump and gotten tested, and she has breast cancer. I feel like my world is falling apart. Not having the books
myself at the time I started binge watching the movies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the closest I feel to home while we wait for her surgery day. I thank my stars every day that we were able to remove the mass and she has been cancer-free since then.
That's awesome.
Being the resilient woman that she is, she took this horrible thing and turned it into something wonderful. She will be graduating with her master's degree on May 11th, and I could not be more proud. She's the
awesome.
person that I contact with my crazy Harry Potter theories. She flew to Reno to drive back with me to Las Vegas, and we alternated listening to a chapter and then listening to an episode of Swish and
Hey.
Flicked, pausing in between moments to debate between ourselves. She is one of the most amazing women I have ever met, and I'm so happy that she introduced me to the wizarding world. I'm also so thankful for Swish and Flick for fueling my love for all things Potter. It's so fun yelling at my phone when you guys say things like 17 hands, whatever that means. And here I am like, it's how they measured horses, Sarah. Love you, girlies, and keep on keeping on.
What a good story.
Cody, thank you. And super congrats to your mom. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
She's
Yes,
congratulations. Clearly overcome some stuff in her life, and look at her go.
Yes.
Amazing.
And look at you go. Look at you both.
Look at you go.
Congratulations. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yes.
Thanks for contacting me to get this done properly on time.
We did it.
We did it. We all did it together.
We did it. We did it. Yeah, we did it. And then we recount all the things that we've done.
That's a long list.
That's a Dory the Explorer. Dory.
Dory. You got
Dory,
Dory.
Dory the Explorer.
The Explory.
She's been swimming in the ocean with Nemo and his dad. I don't remember what's Nemo's dad's name. I want to call him Al.
Marlon.
No. Hard pass.
All right, social media.
Yes.
I'm
Whoa.
doing it today. Look out.
Different stuff today.
You can find Swish and Flick Podcast on any of the social media. So you can find us on Facebook at Swish and Flick Podcast or on Twitter and Instagram at Swish Flick Cast. You can also go over to YouTube and subscribe where we're going to be posting vlogs. You can follow along on our crazy Potter-filled adventures. And don't forget to check us out on Patreon because you can get exclusive access to the Felix Files, which
Whoa,
are
you can?
our bi-monthly bonus episodes.
Hey.
And lots of other cool perks. We're revamping it. Probably by the time this came out, it has already been revamped. So go check it out. There's monthly hangouts on Zoom. You can be a guest on our Felix Files. Lots of stuff. So go to patreon.com/swishflickcast. Huge shout out to all our current patrons. We love you all. We love all our listeners. And lastly, check out our website, swishflickcast.com. That's where you can find all this information, plus our merchandise.
It should be your number one website you go to.
Yeah, it should be your homepage.
Agreed.
Go that far.
Tell all your friends. That's the number one website in the whole world.
All right. Other stuff. Other stuff.
Stuff.
Are you going to do it or I'm going to do it? This is
You can do
awkward.
it. I like to go last. You can. It's our second episode. You go.
Okay. Sarah and I have a podcast about learning our way through the Star Wars fandom called BB-8 Radio. We are on Twitter and we are on Instagram. We also
Instagram.
we also have our episode on Podbean and on iTunes, so you can listen to us there. We have one episode out at the moment. And we just did a recording with another Star Wars podcast called Force Toast Pod. Parents, it is not for children.
Yeah.
Let me say this again. It is not for children. Do not go and listen to that with your child. It is not for children. It has an explicit rating. And Sarah and I had a blast.
By the time this comes out, we'll have our second episode out, and it's coming out on Revenge of the Sith Day, which is the day after May the 4th be with you.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So we had a really good time recording with those ladies. They're hilarious and such a good time. So if you are an adult, you can go and you like Star Wars, go and listen to Force Toast podcast.
They know
Please,
more than us.
children, no, do not. Parents, no. Not kid friendly. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, there's
But
adult.
they're adult friendly and they're hilarious and I love
yeah,
them.
adult content and all that stuff and
Yes.
swears. So, but I mean, honestly, like if you like Star Wars and you can handle adult content and swears, they know a significant amount
Yes.
more than us. So we're just talking about the new trailer and kind of what we might think is coming with the new movie.
Yeah. But BB-8 will be friendly for all. So there's that.
Correct.
What else am I doing? 4 weeks of school. Literally 4 weeks of school.
By the time this is over, you'll only have 3.
I'm ready for summer and
Sometime.
ready for spending
Makes
lots of
me
time
feel
with
fine.
Alana. And that's what I'm doing. Next.
You can follow me and Meg on our daily vlog, The Peters Family, on YouTube, and we have Instagram, maybe Twitter. For sure, Instagram and Facebook.
You have a Twitter.
Yeah, we have a good time with it, actually. We've been doing it currently right now for like 20 straight days, which is pretty insane. So check that out. Check out some Harry Potter posters at Akio Designs on Etsy if you want some stuff for your house.
Cool beans.
Maybe we're throwing a party this summer. Potter party, July 31st.
Potter party.
We could hook you up. What about you, Sarah?
You know me, I don't do anything with my life.
Except BB-8.
I've been planning my friend's bachelorette party, kind of.
It's a lot of work.
BB-8 radio. I just had a party at my house, had a great time. I will tell you that I had told my friends to dress up as me because I thought it'd be
So
really
great.
funny. And my friend dressed up as me 2 hours before a flight or like going on vacation, and she arrived with an empty suitcase because everyone knows I don't pack till like right before I'm supposed to leave. I hate packing.
It's amazing.
I'm just trying to figure out school and stuff. I'm just waiting on my sister because it kind of hinges on her plan, what I'm gonna do. But I'll let you guys know more when I know more. But other than that, I'm just living life, trying to survive day to day, working, podcasting. That's pretty much it.
I'm familiar with that.
Also watched Avengers Endgame. I won't say any spoilers, but it was very, very good. I enjoyed it. I cried, but I cry at everything, so that really doesn't tell you anything. Also, the 3rd episode of Game of Thrones is on tonight, and I'm nervous. So I'll let you know.
Here, just go into it thinking your favorite peeps are going to die.
And then if they don't, surprise.
Yeah. Really.
But by the time this comes out, the 4th episode will be airing. So, which means it's like it's halfway over after tonight because there's only 6 episodes this season.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's gonna be an emotional weekend.
Super emosh. And that's all we have for you today. So that concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just my voice. We're doing 22, correct?
Nope.
92.
The things that you know that I know that you know, but they don't know that we know. Oh my God.
And we have to edit that.
I don't know.
Bag man.
Mr. Bagman.
He's the bag man. Yeah, tell him. Yes, that's how you do it.